Scouter Richard here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Beaveree Cuberee York Headwaters cub wooden knife. I'm going to go over the assembly of it and the procedures that you're going to need to walk through with your youth. Now the first thing that they're going to have to do is once they get their package, they're going to have to make sure they have all their parts. You should have two sides. They're mirrored images. You shouldn't have two exactly the same. You're going to have the lock-in pivot arm. You're going to have the end spring. You're going to have the blade. You're going to have three small little pieces of dowel and one larger one in terms of the diameter. Two spacers of round size and two end spacers. Now, once you have everything complete, you're going to instruct the youth to sand just the end, one end of all four of the dowels. What we're doing is just taking that sharp edge off of it. So all you need to do is just rub it across the sandpaper and just rotate your fingers and have it rotate like so, just so that you get that round edge. So we're going to do that to all four. This is going to allow a lot easier insertion of the pins into the sides. Doesn't have to be beautiful, as long as you get most of that sharp little corner that's there off, it'll make things a lot easier. So you do not want to be sanding a lot, just light sands and just so that edge is gone. Get rid of the sandpaper at this point. Now, your sides have you have one side that shows some text and the other side doesn't. You definitely want to make sure that this is the inside edge. The holes are done in such a way that there is a small angle to them, a small little chamfer, and we're going to be using that to our advantage. What the youth is going to do is taking the sanded end, they're going to shove it onto the text side. Then flip it over, balanced force, and push it through. Same thing for the smaller ones. Push it through. Push it through. Oh, I almost got that one backwards. There we go. And push it through. Now, if they did push it through the wrong way and it's not the sanded end, it's not the end of the world. This just makes it a little bit easier. Now, at this point, you should have all four dowels sticking through on the inside edge. So when they're assembling it, you should not see any text at this point. The end spacer, if you put it on backwards, you can tell right away that it doesn't quite fit. It doesn't look correct. Make sure it goes on the right way. And just push it on. You don't have to be too delicate doing that. Same thing for the round one. It goes on the front where the blade's going to go. Now at this point, this is probably the only one that's a little bit more trickier to push on. The spring lever of this end spring, it goes close to the edge where the divot is on the handle. Oops. Drop it on and just push. It should go on relatively smoothly. Now at this point, the rocker arm, which is the part of the locking mechanism. You're going to slide it on and make sure you slide it on in this area. Some youth are going to go like this way and that's going to sort of hinder the actual assembly. You're going to want to get it just in this little area right here so it's above the spring, and then you can just give it a small little try and see how the locking mechanism works. At this point, you bring the blade, slide it on. Now you'll notice it will not actually slide over the lock, so you actually have to depress the lock system and drop the blade on. At this point, if you're with a youth, it's a great time to show a bunch of them how the locking mechanism works on a fold-in knife. Push down on the lever, unlocks, able to swing in, comes back up, and you can show them the lock-in process. And also explain to them that they should never use a knife that does not have some type of mechanical lock. Put on the other spacer on the other side. Spacer on the blade section. Now, it'll take a little bit of practice, but all they have to do is line up the dowels to the holes, just get it started, and then at this point, with a little bit of force, just push it right down, and your knife is complete. Press the locking mechanism. And there we go. Now, if you have some time, what you can do is, because the laser cutting process that we use to make the blades leaves a little bit of burn marks, you can go back to your sandpaper, using circular motions. You can give it a quick little clean. And there we go. One finished knife. Now, if you find that your actual dowels are a little bit loose, you can apply a small amount of wood glue, but a very small amount just to the outer surface, just so it just a small hair of it goes into that crack. If you put too much glue or you force the glue in, it'll seep to the inside and it'll basically prevent the knife from working properly. It'll gum up the moving parts on the inside. So just a small amount of glue around the surface, wipe it off afterwards, and you're good to go. So enjoy and be safe.